Hey everyone, I'm Airier, and this is a quick tutorial on how to get into For Honor. Now, for someone just jumping right into it, this game is kind of overwhelming. First off, no matter what you've heard, this game, it's similar to Dark Souls in the sense that it's very much PvP based. It's very much timing your attacks. There's a lot of strategy in how you arrange things. But before you think of anything, there is one massive difference if you believe this is anything like Dark Souls. The movement strategy is nothing like that. It is actually closer to the heavy weighted mechanics of Witcher 3 than Dark Souls, which was hyper responsive and very fast to move. If something happens to you, if your character stumbles or falls or is hit, there is a stun timer on everything. Every little action comes with a little timer on cooldown because it's acting as a physical representation. Your armor makes you slower and you feel sluggish and heavy, but you'll hit harder. Less armor, more damage will be done to you, but you'll move faster. The speed is a very important thing, and there are no indications in-game. You just have to know. So the best advice I could say is, run into a custom match and go on your own against a bot, and just swing around your sword to figure out how fast to move. If you want someone who's really fast, go Peacekeeper. Their R1 is almost faster than anything. Short of that, go for Samurai. They also have absurd, just incredibly absurd speed in their attacks. Now, if you're looking for something more along the lines of heavy and durable, try the Conqueror. It has a shield, and whenever someone hits it and you block, they're automatically stunned. Now, that might sound like much, but in a team fight where there's someone else, having one of your opponents stunned is a great way for your opponent to die because your team capitalized on it. Now, they'll be knocked back so they're out of your range, but the teammate won't. What you need to know, though, is that you will be moving slow. Do not button mash. Stay back, take a hit here and there, have your shield up, and be ready to block. Now, when it comes to shields, if you're using a character with an actual shield, it's always up. As long as you have it in the right direction, they will auto-block, and it's nice. If you have someone with a sword, though, you need to move in the direction to block with the right joystick if you're on PS4, or whatever your equivalent is to move the blocking mechanic. You need to do it right as they're attacking, otherwise the block will be ineffective, or you'll just die. So keep that in mind. Timing is very important in this game. Now, there are other options. If you don't want to do that, try using the scenery to your advantage. You can throw them off with a double click of square. I will warn you though, character size is important with that. If you have a really big character, they will most likely have a much easier time knocking someone off. The same is true if you have a really small character like the Peacekeeper. They're fast, but their stun is overridden by practically everything. So keep that in mind before you die horribly. Now, what you're going to want to make sure to know before anything else is that you will want to just take a character and level them up, even if you lose, especially if you lose in Dominion, because that will give you the most experience the fastest. Your first couple, 2 or 3 levels will go immediately. The advantage to that is that you get loot when this happens. So even if you lose, you get stronger, you get more levels, and you can start activating more items. Initially, though, you're going to want to focus on things like more attack, less stamina consumption, better defense, as your character likes it. Now, there's multiple playstyles, and the one thing a lot of people don't realize, and they're quickly coming to regret, there is range in this option. On the D-pad, they have the 4 buttons, and as the game goes on, you unlock them. One of them, near late game, is usually, for many classes, a ranged ability. Some are more damaging than others. Some are bombs, some are just flashbang grenades. Yes, flashbang grenades are in this game. They're not very good, they don't work very long, but they're there, they're great for escapes. Like I said, they don't work very long, so if you try and close in, they'll probably get back on their feet before you can do anything. So be aware that if it's mid to late game, you might want to watch out for someone shooting you because they have crossbows and some little flintlocks and bombs. Other than that, the one thing is just play defensive. Most characters are better defensive. Take your shots, maybe take a hit here, a hit there, and you'll be fine. What you don't want to do is run in and button mash. Unless you have designed your character to be incredibly fast and hit hard and hit often, and that is possible, but you need to build up to that. And you need to have the swords and the armor and the weapons that actually complement that. Immediately into the game, just play defensive, sit back, hit them whenever they overextend, and underneath your health, keep in mind there's a green bar that says stamina. Every time you attack, it depletes. And every time you block, it depletes again. But it depletes less than whenever you attack. That's why you want to sit back. This way, your opponent can just slash and flash you because of the flashbang grenades, and just go to town wailing on you. And when they're out of stamina, their attacks are slow and sloppy. You can hit faster. And if you hit faster, it interrupts theirs, which is amazing because you can stun lock them and kill them. Just wait until they run out of stamina. A good opponent won't do that. But if you play this well, you can just sit back and you won't have to worry. Oh, and just a peace of mind, don't stand near the edge. That's a good way to get bum rushed off by a larger character. It will happen. So again, just a few points. First one, don't stand near the edge. Second one, play defensive and take hits only when you feel safe. It's not a bad thing to play defensive. Much like Dark Souls, defense is bullshit, and it works. Just make sure that you angle it where you need to. That's the one thing that's a little hard, but if you focus on that rather than attacking, you probably will have the reaction time to catch which angle they're coming from. There's only 3. Up, right, and left. I think I did that backwards, so for you it actually looked correct. Hopefully it did. Whatever. And number 3, if you see a team fight, take out the guy who's weakest. I know that might... 3, yeah, not 4. Now that sounds a little awkward, but it's surprisingly useful whenever there's a bunch of people. And you don't take the guy in the center. Take the one on the sides who's trying to retreat. That way they have someone who won't come back. And you can start double teaming the enemy in the middle. Now it's not honorable, and some people, because this is For Honor, won't do that. That's fine. Now, when it comes to just characters you should choose right off the bat, now generally you can see my preference here. I'm a big fan of Peacekeeper because they have attack spam that's actually viable because it's so fast it stun locks an enemy if you can hold it out. For an initial start though, the Conqueror is hard defense, hard hit. They auto stun, they're a good choice. I also would recommend Nobushi because their range is kind of insane. Or Kensei because he has range and it just keeps going down. It's a hard hit. The R2 from straight down is very, very good. It's a little slower. And then there's just the lunges. He's very good because he has range and hard hitting. If you can master him, you can probably bullshit anyone. Immediately, though, if you want someone, a Raider... Oh, it's a chick. Oh, well, you know, I actually didn't realize that. The Raider is very good at bum rushing. So if you just want to run people off the edge, this is someone who you capitalize on with pressing square. The bum rush abilities and the stuns. Because they're big. They're physically taller and bulkier than anyone in the game. And when you load in, you'll see it. If you want to do counters, the Warden is actually pretty damn good, actually. But you won't want to attack. The R1 is absolutely useless. The R2 is good. Just make sure to wait until they're not attacking you anymore, until they're out of stamina, and you will wreck them. But that's pretty much the only point. They're a little more difficult because of that. Personal opinion. I would recommend, though, the Conqueror. Like, you'll start with 2,000 of the coins or reputation right up the top. You can kind of see it right up there, right next to Airier. There's 2 zeros and then 247. That is the coins. When you finish the tutorial, you'll get 2,000. You can buy a character you like. If you want someone who has a high defense and high attack, go for the Conqueror. He has a flail, he has a shield, and he's very good at surviving. And all the same. Those are just a few tips that'll help you out. And I just can't stress enough. Seriously. Play defensive. Play to your strengths. Whatever you feel you're comfortable with. And don't expect the character to react instantly. It's a sluggish movement system. It acts as if you're actually taking damage, as if you're actually falling, as if you're actually running or stunned or out of breath. And that is a little hard to get used to, but as long as you're aware of it and you don't expect them to instantly react or turn on a dime, you should be fine. They won't turn on a dime, seriously. If you turn the other way, they'll actually do a slow turning animation. There's no sudden spins like in some games. I'm thinking Mass Effect. Or even Dark Souls, where you can just spin around and make your character blur. Fun to do that, though. But, yeah. All the same, I hope this helped. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment down below. I'm mostly learning the upper end at this point, but the basics I finally got down. Took a few days, but I know what I'm doing now. And trying to pass on what I learned, because I failed enough that I know what not to do anymore. You know, that's how you always learn. And again, thanks for watching, everyone. Hope this helped. And if you can, there's a subscribe button. Thanks for pressing it. So, well, that's everything. All the same. See you in the game. Later. Thanks for watching, everyone. And if you want to jump in on the fun, every morning at 8 o'clock a.m. Eastern, I hold a live stream that's open to the public. Subscribe to the channel. It's the button right down there. If you hit it, it'll give you a notification when I'm online, and I'm free to have someone jump on in, so feel free to join. I actually look forward to it. And again, Thanks for watching. Later.